So therefore, it's going to be great again. So that's what Mark Zuckerberg has to say about hacking. So that's why I chose the title of this session to be Hacking the Novel. Because what I want to do is find a way to make it more relevant, make English language arts more relevant, more broader, bringing in STEM concepts and vice versa, taking ELA concepts, artistic concepts, and infusing them into STEM. So that's what we're going to talk about today. First, I have a question for you. When I say English class, what comes to your mind? And if you don't mind, if you have access on technology, if you can click on where it says please respond here, it takes you to a Google form. I want you to type in a few of your answers. You can do as many as you want. When you think of English class, the English classes you sat in, maybe some that you taught, that you were subjected to, might be another term. What kind of images, connotations, memories, those kinds of things came up in your mind? Spelling. Creative spelling, that's what we call it, right? Okay, so as they're coming up, you can put in lots of your own response, you can put in several, if something else pops up. And you have access to this list, right? Some grammar lessons, blah, those are my favorite. I love diagramming sentences. To this day, I do it for fun. I was the one always correcting the grammar of my brothers and sisters. Got beat up quite a bit for it. So looking at English language arts, reading logs, chapter quizzes, those sound familiar to you? Read chapters 4 and 5. You have the study guide you complete, turn in next time. Shakespeare. Who loves Shakespeare? I love Shakespeare. I absolutely love him. Because he can tell a great story, which we're going to get to in a little bit. Reading a great novel and discussing it, we'll talk about that. Essays, we will definitely talk about the subject of essays. Reading novels, writing compositions, kind of goes along the same line. Books, grammar, banned books, talking about them, reading them. Lots of wonderful reading, not excited about learning how to write it. Okay. Grammar, vocabulary lessons, right? Let's take a piece of paper, fold it into 4, draw a picture, use it in a sentence, right? We all did that. Because there's no other way to teach grammar, is there? There's no other way to teach vocabulary, right? Fold the paper into 4 pieces, make your little diagram, your whatever, do that, share it with them. There's no other way to do it. Or so we thought. Here's my contention right here. I'll get back to my definition in a second. This is something I posted on Twitter the other day. I believe that the traditional reading log is dead, or at least it should be. And this is why. Raise your hand if you have written a 5-paragraph essay outside of a school setting in your lifetime. Outside of school, for what reason?
Oh, lots. As a director of a program of writing grants.
Oh, okay.
I mean, just writing proposals to parents to get their kids to come to camps, summer camps.
Those are all 5-paragraph essays?
No, I write a lot. So maybe, I think I have. I'm still in school though. So,
Oh, okay.
all right. I'm a lifelong learner.
All right.
I want to get a couple of masters after 60.
Nice.
This one this year at 60. So we'll
Very
see.
good. Very good. How many of you do writing outside of school? Some sort of writing outside of school? It's not for an assignment, it's not, okay. Journals, what else do we do? Letters? What are those? Just kidding. Letters, we write letters.
Thank you notes.
Thank you notes. Okay. Texting. Where, how else do we write, communicate in written form? When I say we, I mean, look at kids from this tall to, what do they do? Facebook,
Tweets.
Twitter, Snapchat. Right. Now, it's not necessarily long writing, right? So that's what kids do. Educators, where do we get a lot of our resources? From other teachers who write blogs, posts, articles, that sort of thing, right? And we read those. Now, those are not dissimilar from 5-paragraph essays, because the 5-paragraph essay teaches you what? Structure, organization, okay? And none of those things are bad. If you're going to build a house, you need to start with foundational things, right? But you don't build every house the same way. And so that's what, when I say the traditional reading log is dead, I think when I was teaching language arts to high school kids, I think I did them a great disservice by only focusing on those things. But at that time, that was the world to me, right? The world has changed, it's a little different. So here then, when you think of STEAM, what does STEAM stand for? Science, technology, engineering, arts, math.
Or agriculture. if you're
Agriculture.
Working with 4-H and BOCES.
Bingo, okay. And I thought long and hard about that, and I'm like, okay, to me, a lot of times, I think STEAM, STEM has become another buzzword. Kathy Stanton and I had this conversation just yesterday, that we go out and shoot off some rockets into the air and we call it STEM, right? We go to the computer, we do some coding with our kids and we call it STEM. We do some science experiments. We have a science fair and we call it STEM. I, for one, and I don't know if I'm right or wrong, whatever, this is my personal opinion, I feel very strongly about it, I think that is wrong. STEM is not just shooting rockets. It's not making robots and navigating them around. It's not just that. It's part of it, but it's not just that. So this is my personal definition of STEAM then, is the way that kids need to be taught, really. It's good education, it's good teaching. Substantial, transformative, educational, and aesthetics movement. Okay. How many of you do science every day? Raise your hand. You do, every day. Every day you do some sort of science, do you not? Do you not? How many of you drove here to the school? You then engaged in some sort of science, right? Whether you knew it or not, whether it was conscious or not, you engaged in it. How many of you use technology every day? Okay. Engineering. You use engineering every day. Every day you go through the engineering design process, which we will talk about again here in a little bit. The engineering design process is, how many of you have tinkered with a recipe before? That's the engineering design process, is it not? Okay. How many of you are looking for a faster way to get ready in the morning to get out of the house faster? That's engineering. It's the engineering design process, right? All of those things we do every day. What we're going to do today is talk a lot about the aesthetics part of it, because language arts, how we can, I'm thinking of Jason Latimer's presentation, right? He talked about a lot of science, some science concepts, different things like that. If he were to stand up there and talk about the way to, if he were just to talk about it without showing us, would it be as exciting? Pretty boring, right? We'd sit there and we'd be, okay, another lecture. Or what did he do instead? Add some aesthetics to it, right? He made it significant with the music, the lighting, his motions. When he's doing, all that, he could have just flipped the cards. It would have been cool. But yeah, the motions to it as well. So we'll talk about some of those things too as we go along. And we're going to start off with this right here. Now, we're not going to go through each of these video clips. I have them linked for you on the website, so you can go back